7:03. Sorry, it's loud. We have a roll call?
Student trustee Jacobs?
Here.
Student trustee Yen? Here. Trustee Gutter?
Here.
Trustee Gallegos? Trustee Lee?
Here.
Vice President Tejada?
Here.
President Walker?
Here.
Student trustee Surjiva?
Here.
And student trustee Chavez?
Here.
Thank you. Item 8. Student trustee Myatt.
Here.
Item 8, there's nothing to report out of closed session. Item 9 is the agenda. Do we have any changes?
No changes, but we've attached the student advisory slides to the agenda for the public.
Thank you. What do you think of this agenda, board?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Let's approve some minutes. Item 10A, meeting minutes from April 14th.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor of approving the minutes from April 14th, 2026?
Aye.
Aye. Item B is the board minutes from April 18th, 2026.
So moved.
Aye. Second. Sorry.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Aye. One of those things. So
Great. Thank you. Aye.
Move to approve minutes of April 23rd,
Second.
2026.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item 11 is recognitions and commendations. Item A is the Adult Education Student of the Year. I believe the Principal Bashirs will help us out. Welcome.
Board of Trustees, Executive Cabinet, Superintendent Presta, President Charette Walker, it is my pleasure to present to you Khadij Doristan, the Jefferson Adult Education Student of the Year. Khadijah came to the United States from Tehran 4 years ago, and she had 3 very good reasons for doing so: her 2 daughters and her grandson, who I just got to meet. Both of the daughters have successful careers in the tech industry, a reflection on the work ethic Khadijah and her husband instilled in them. Now, back in Tehran, she and her husband owned a restaurant where they worked together. They had a happy life, but the need to be with her daughters and grandson here in California compelled them to make the trip. Very soon after getting settled here, Khadijah enrolled in ESL classes at Adult Ed. Khadijah is currently taking basic English with teacher Mark Ruffalo. This class is where students first begin finding their handholds in the sheer cliff that is the English language. It's very easy to get discouraged at this time. You try explaining why rough, cough, and dough all have the same O-U-G-H ending, but are pronounced differently. Or why the past tense of sneeze is sneezed, but the past tense of freeze is froze. Khadijah has remarkable attendance, and according to her teacher and her CASA scores, she is showing considerable progress. Khadijah has continued to attend classes despite her concerns for her family back home in Iran. The war is a constant threat to the safety of friends and family, and this has been an emotional time for her. But her dedication and resilience are an inspiration to both staff and students. When I see Khadijah walking into the school in the morning, she always greets me with a smile, expresses her gratitude for the opportunity to study. Her goals are to complete her language studies and to enter college, and to watch her grandson grow up, sharing in his development. Her teacher said this to me: "Personally, I find it humbling when students like Khadijah allow me the opportunity to teach them. It makes it exciting to come to work every day." I present to you Khadij Doristan.
You want to take it? Okay.
No. Would the board have, do they have any comments to make to us?
I think at first we'd like to invite Ms. Dorstan to say a few words if you'd like. Otherwise,
No.
no, thank you. No problem. Sure.
Khadijah, would you like to come up here with me? Come stand here.
So that we can say nice things to her. Thank you.
Hi, I am Khadija Durestan from Iran. I am so happy that you choose me. I am very grateful to the teacher and the school principal. My teacher is kind man and repeat a word the 10 times so the we my teacher opened my eyes to another world, and I'm grateful to my teacher. With his good nature, he revived my motivated to read again. Thank you so much to everyone who came and me happy and motivated. How I would like to thank my husband and my two beautiful daughters, Anna and Anahita. Thank you.
Do you mind staying with us over here for a minute? Okay. The board's going to say some things. Would any student trustee like to start?
Yeah, I can go ahead. I think that was just really inspiring seeing your story, and it honestly brought tears to my eyes because my parents went to the adult school as well. And I think that like you being able to accomplish that is just amazing. And yeah, keep it up.
Anyone would like?
I just hope everything works out for you.
Your story is really inspiring to me because learning a new language is really a struggle, and I can't imagine what it would be like, especially with English being so difficult. So I want to say congrats to developing such good English, and I hope the rest of your time here goes well.
Any more students? Mr. Giva?
I would just like to voice how immensely proud the board is of your achievement. This is something you should be proud of, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for your educational career. Congratulations.
Well, Board of Trustees. Who's got it?
Well, congratulations to you and your family. I remember when I was a young girl and in 7th grade, one of my good friends came from Iran and she had to learn a new language as a teenager. So she had all that stresses and we helped her and she went on to do good things, and you're going to go on to do good things. You have great commitment and your perseverance and the love and support of your family. So congratulations.
Congratulations and incredible work. And we are very proud of you for the work that you've done and what you've accomplished in your time here so far. And I know it's very clear your family is very proud of you as well. And you really represent us well. I mean, we're a community that prides ourselves on being so inclusive with so many different cultures and languages that are spoken here. And you represent the best of us. So thank you.
I'm so overwhelmed with pride to look at your family, how happy they are for you. But the work that you've done is amazing and inspiring, especially considering what's happening in your home country right now. It's heartbreaking. And I just wish all blessings for you. And maybe you'll invite us to your college graduation. I would love to see where you go, but you're just so very inspiring. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing your story with us today. Thanks for giving us reason to celebrate. It's always wonderful to have students in the room, to have families in the room, and to see what the effect of this oversight role that I have can have on people. Congratulations for your hard work, and thank you.
Congratulations. Your family, I'm getting choked up too, Adam. Your family is so proud of you. I hope you can feel, look, I'm getting choked up. Feel that pride. Congratulations.
I think we'll take a picture.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I couldn't even talk.
Sorry, I missed you. It got me all thrown off.
No worries.
I shook their hand and started chatting.
I was doing just fine.
I'll take this opportunity to pour in water.
Go ahead and take a sip of water or something. We're just going to wait 1 minute. Not mine.
I'll let you some.
Okay, item 11B is our sports championship recognition. Our Director of Communications, Staff Housing, and CTE, Denise Shreve.
First, I'd like to say congratulations to our Westmore and Oceana High School winter sports champions. Their hard work, dedication, teamwork, and perseverance throughout the wrestling season have led to this well-earned success. We are proud of the way that they represented their schools and community with determination, sportsmanship, and excellence, both on and off the mats. Thank you to the coaches, families, and supporters who helped make this season memorable for our student athletes. Congratulations on an outstanding season. We celebrate you tonight for your achievements and look forward to all that is ahead. And now I'd like to present each of you with your certificate of achievement, and then I'm going to have your coaches come up and say a little thing about each of you. So first I have Mary Angeline Galan, Angel from Oceana. This is for you, Mary Angel. Angel is in 11th grade. She earned PAL Ocean League Wrestling Varsity Champion in the 105-pound varsity weight class. Natalie Kukalista is from Westmore. She is in the 12th grade. Girls Varsity Wrestling, 155-pound first place PAL finals. Alan Alarcon, Westmore, 11th grade, varsity wrestling, 250-pound division, first place PAL finals.
Yes.
Peter Gikonga from Westmore, 10th grade, JV wrestling, heavyweight division, first place PAL finals. And now I'm going to invite Manny, the Westmore wrestling coach, to come up and speak.
Just want to say good job to my fellow athletes. I want to start off with Peter. Peter had a phenomenal season. Obviously, he won our league tournament at the JV level. He worked really hard this year. And also want to give a special shout out to to Alan. Alan also won the league championships, and they both worked extremely hard this season. Peter's also very good academically as a student. And last but not least, I want to congratulate Natalie. Natalie's been a pioneer of our sport for women's wrestling. Natalie's the third woman to ever wrestle for Westmore, and she is our our second women's league champ in over 10 years and in the history of the school. So thank you very much, you guys. We hope Natalie goes on to wrestle in college, hopefully, if that's her will. Thank you.
No, I didn't think so. Okay. So just lastly, let's give them all another round of applause for their achievements on the mats, as I like to say, since they're all wrestlers, and for all of their hard work and determination. They are what represents JUHSD student athletes. So congratulations. And now we'll take a picture with all of them. Do you want to each want to say something?
Shall we say something? I think Mr. Myatt might have something to say.
Yeah, so go Rams, first of all. I'm so proud to see so many of us being recognized today. I think that honestly, like I've seen the wrestling team travel like really far for meets as well, and I just think like it's so amazing for what you guys do. So yeah, congratulations.
First off, congratulations. That's an amazing thing to accomplish. As an athlete, going to the championship is a big thing. And being a student athlete can be tricky at times. So congratulations to that. Keep working hard and do consider playing your sport in college. It's an amazing feeling. I want to say congrats to all of you because wrestling isn't just a sport, but it's a lifestyle that you have to work on day and night through practice and every other aspect of life. And I hope you find more success in your sports career later in life and also just generally.
I'd like to congratulate everybody, every wrestler here, but I'd also like to extend a special congratulations to Angel. Angel, I've seen you grow as a wrestler and I've seen you grow as a friend, and I'm really proud of you for being here today. So congratulations to everybody.
Ms. Gutter?
Well, I just want to say congratulations. And clearly, when I was your age, there was not a female wrestler or female, a lot of things. So it's honest. So I am so proud of you ladies for representing yourselves well, for choosing and choosing a sport that's not traditional, but clearly a lot of younger ladies are going to be looking up to you. And I do hope that you continue in the future with your wrestling. And to the gentlemen, just all of you that are placing first place, that is really incredible. I'm really overwhelmed and very impressed by what you've been able to do and still really have good grades. So continue on the great path that you're on.
Indeed, congratulations to all four of you. Incredible work to be able to work so hard and achieve this level of accomplishment in your respective sports. And it's always fun to celebrate champions in this room. So congratulations again.
It's amazing that when I went to school in this district, Oceana was the powerhouse wrestling school. Westmore is pretty good too. And then I was shocked that we didn't have it anymore when I came on the board. So the short amount of time that Westmore has revived the program, we've got a bunch of champions, fantastic. Young women, even more fantastic. I applaud all of you. Just that you've been able, student athletes work extra hard because you've got to do double the work. And wrestling's really tough. My brother and my nephew were wrestlers. And I used to help my brother cut weight. And I had to control his diet. So he would, make weight that day. Oh my God. Especially when he was trying to wrestle a weight down. But anyway, wrestling's really tough. I commend all of you. Thank you for representing our district so well. Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations, everyone. I'm trying to get my words together. I am so impressed with the sport of wrestling. So the way I see it, you have to be strong, agile, flexible, smart, and you have to play this whole chess match in your head while someone's trying to hurt you. So I'm overwhelmed with your success in this incredibly impossible sport that I was never good at. Congratulations.
Congratulations to all of you. Thank you to your vice principal, Mr. Worden, our Westmore vice principal, for being here. Thank you to the coaches. Thank you to the families who are here. Thank you to everybody supporting you. But most of all, congratulations, athletes. I can't imagine wrestling. Really. I don't even know how. That is incomprehensible to me. And I do echo my colleagues here when I'm really glad that young women have a chance to wrestle, because that wasn't something when I was in high school either. But congratulations. I also know that it's really hard to go to school, get good grades, do what you need to do, and then have practice outside and on weekends, having matches, etc. So it really takes a lot of skill for you to get everything done that needs to get done. And I know it's a kind of a stressful time of year. So I hope you're able to take a rest now that you won this championship. Okay. Congratulations.
Let's take a photo. So.
I was at practice low-key ruined it. Actually, thank you. And then if I can have the athletes and their families,
First one and the last one.
I know. I never realized.
Item 12 is communications. We'll do a board report. Students first.
Yeah.
Westmore High School, Mr. Jeremiah.
Yes. So at Westmore, we've been really busy, especially with just AP seasons coming up. But first of all classes have been working really hard to prepare for our rally that'll be happening right after AP testing. But we've also had food fair last week, and it was really successful just seeing all clubs come together and being able to fundraise for themselves. We've also had our track varsity PAL trials this Thursday, and it'll happen next Saturday. In addition to this, we also have swim PALs tomorrow on Friday and Saturday. We have badminton PALs next week. And our science department actually did a really good Earth Week last week, I believe. And there was just a lot of participation amongst the student body. We've also celebrated Education Week coming up, and our Social Justice Coalition has started a voter registration drive.
Thank you. Jefferson, Ms. Jacobs.
So at Jeff, baseball season has recently started. They have had 4 home games so far. Our boys volleyball played international this past week, and they took 2 sets off. We had CTE capstone presentations here at the district office last week. Myself and another student represented Chef Scott for advanced culinary. Badminton, swim, and track are entering PALs. We had a step-up rally where our seniors walked out, and we played some games. So we have AP exams coming up. BSU is up and running again. And junior testing has been this week and last week, which we've had a drastic schedule change. We have had senior activity day on Wednesdays. We had senior signing and prom, which was on the boat around the sea. Our finals are coming up for senior finals. And then we have senior awards night and athletic awards night, as well as graduation.
Thank you. Villanova, Ms. Yen.
Last Friday, we had Special Olympics, which was a big success thanks to the assistance of our cheer team and leadership. Now, this week, we have our last Rally and Spirit Week, and the theme is Glow Big or Glow Home. And for the Spirit Week, our outreach activity is a canned food drive that also lasts until Friday. And during this, our yearbook is open for online sales, and the theme will be announced at this rally. We also currently have ASB elections, and students are currently voting. Our spring sports are also having their postseason, so they'll have various PALs throughout this week. And our students are preparing for CTE pathway and capstone presentations. And lastly, we have prom on May 16th.
Thank you. Oceana, Ms. Shankiva.
So Oceana has also been keeping themselves busy with AP exams coming up, so students have been hard at work preparing for their AP exams. Also, we have prom coming up right after AP exams, and our theme is City of Gold. Track senior night and swim senior night just happened, so congrats to all the seniors. And the swim team is also having their PALs Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. As well, we have Fame Night coming up, which stands for Fun, Art, Media, and Entertainment. I don't know if that's right. And then we also have ongoing ASB elections. So those are still going on. Additionally, Be the Change Coalition just had their youth summit, and the Junior X deadline is also coming up for juniors. Lastly, Oceana has a rally coming up after AP testing on May 15th.
Thank you. Anything from Thornton, Ms. Trulin?
Last week, Wilderness went on a field trip to Elkis Ranch with students from Susan B. Anthony. This Thursday, we have early dismissal. On Friday, we have no school for RIS testing. Juniors and graduating seniors will be signing off May 15, and graduation is May 19.
Thank you. Trustees?
Okay. Well, thank you. In my second month of being on the board, I'm plugging along, trying to learn a million things. But I was privileged to go to the adult school where the principal was very kind and introduced some of his staff, took me on a tour. It is great over there. If you don't know, they have a great garden in addition to all of the programming. So that was great for me. I attended the Be the Change Summit this weekend. That was fabulous. Mary Beer and her staff, but really just how the youth that are a part of it, they were just so confident. I mean, I don't know if they've just been practicing public speaking, but they were just so unbothered, unnerved. They gave personal experiences, which is very difficult to do in a room of people. Was very well organized. So that was great. And last night I went to the Access to Higher Education Scholarships in Colma. I think it's Colma Daly City. So that was just so wonderful to see. I think it was 40 plus youth get scholarships this year. So it's just been a good time. It's a good time getting ready for graduation season.
Yeah, there is a lot. There's a lot that went on, and in the interest of time, I'll just keep it really, really brief. There was our budget work study that we had a couple of weeks ago, and I also attended the YIMBY Action Gala for all the pro-housing movement. So it was really good to just connect with people who, are interested in the work that we have done.
I don't have much to report except that I'm looking forward to some more activities this week, like the at Oceana, the Pie Ranch event, the dinner, and also I'm going to the Jefferson spring concert. I'm really looking forward to that.
I was at the Daly City Colma Chamber of Commerce event last night with Trustee Gutter. It's nice to see some of our own trustees get awards. It's really exciting to hear people taking next steps. I love this time of year. I've attended the events my colleagues have. I've also seen some sports. I checked out a track meet where I got to see, I saw a track meet. It was fun. I've been at the new baseball field at Terra Nova to see some softball, and I've seen 2 Westmore baseball games. It's been a lot of fun. They have pretty good time out there. I imagine that probably players from all the schools have a pretty good time playing baseball, but I kind of forgot how much fun it was. I love this time of year. Is there a superintendent report?
Thank you. I have less to report this week because I've been doing a lot of parenting college tours. So many of my colleagues have been filling in for me at events. So I want to thank you to my deputy and assistant superintendents and the board for really showing up. I did get to go to a track meet today and see senior night. I don't always get to see that, and that was super fun. Mostly, I'm going to talk about our student advisory, who I'm going to introduce in a little bit because they're going to give their report. But last night was our final sort of working meeting. We do have one more meeting where we just kind of get to eat Chipotle and then they get some awards and things like that at the final board meeting. But I have been very, very proud of their work all year. And I'm excited for you to see what they have to show you tonight.
Thank you. Do any board subcommittees need to report out? For the highlight of the evening, item 12D is the AFT Local 1481 report. Don't miss it.
Thank you so much. I don't have much. Just a reminder that this week we are celebrating May Day and International Workers' Day on May 1st. And so we've sent out some lessons, short or long. You can take your pick, so that students can understand what it is that May Day represents. And so that's across the whole district. So we've sent that out to everyone so everyone is aware. So that's all. And you can always check our website, no matter who you are. It's available to everyone, our AFT 1481 website, especially the announcements page.
Thank you. Item 13 is for your information. Check it out. Item 14 is the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent.
Second.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
We do have one public comment this evening, non-agenda. Anthony Sujisaka, President of the Board for Jefferson Elementary School District. You have 3 minutes.
Don't worry, I only need 2. Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent, Cabinet. I'm really, and actually, I didn't realize it was coming when so many things are being celebrated. So congratulations to all the students in the audience, all the students who are in sports, Students of the Year. I saw a bunch of things being celebrated, so congratulations to them. No, I'm actually just here just to see how your board works, since you are the place where our students go. And so, and I know that you represent a lot of different districts, but one of the things that we value is that we share the same name, Jefferson Elementary, Jefferson Union. So I'm just showing our unity by being here and just getting to know you all, what you do and what you represent. And hopefully, you all are welcome to come see where your students come from. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you
very much.
16A. 16 discussion items. A1 is our Student Advisory Council presentation. Ms. Presta will bring us up to speed.
Thank you. Before I start talking, Ms. Baca, is the clicker up here for them? Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, so Student Advisory Council has been actively engaged this year in identifying challenges that matter most to their peers and developing thoughtful, student-driven solutions. Through surveys, listening sessions, and collaborative discussion, students pinpointed key areas for improvement across academics, school culture, and student well-being. They've made meaningful progress on several initiatives and are prepared to share their findings, steps taken so far, and ideas for the future. So this year, I've mentioned in our board meetings this year that the Student Advisory Council did something a little bit different. Usually, they certainly are trustees, they come to board meetings and they represent their schools. But when we meet throughout the year, they look at issues that they want, that they think need to be solved, or ways to improve our district. And typically at the end of the year, they sort of just report out to the adults. And then we do listen to them and take actions and do things, but it's not always obvious or evident, some of the actions that the adults take, number one. And number two, we've really been working these last few years in our district to empower our students and to include our students in the solutions, and to just be to have more agency. This is their school district. So this year was kind of an experiment to see how it would go, because we knew you can't solve everything in a short amount of time, but you can start taking small actions, and some of those small actions will grow. And I'm happy to say that many of our student trustees will be continuing next year. So we don't have all seniors. We have, I think, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, but I think mostly it's juniors moving up. So some of these initiatives will indeed continue, I'm sure. So Our student trustees have worked very hard on their presentations. And when they come up I'm going to call out their names and just have you stand when I call your name. You can remain standing so that you're not alone. I'm going to introduce all of you, but then when each group comes up, they will introduce themselves. The first group to be ready to come up is going to be school environment, just so you know. Okay, so I'm going to call your name. When I call your name, please stand up. So from Westmore High School, Adam Maya. He's standing up on the dais. Ryan Chow, Ethan Tam, Caitlin Tan, Shuming Tian. From Jefferson High School, Angela Chin, Romina Pastrana, Edward Miles, Adriana Cervantes, and Ava Jacobs. From Terra Nova High School, Alaya Auchelong. I messed up your name, didn't I? Alashong. Okay. Bianca Slater Santos, Ramona Orlando, Valerie Yen, and Casey Spiegel. Oops, Siepel. Sorry, Casey. Oceana High School, Violet Schuler, Dominic Presta, Avni Rajan, Eva Imperato, and Marina Sergiva. Let's give them a hand. I stopped before the end of the list. From Thornton High School, Camila Chulin and Naomi Gutierrez Amaya. Now let's give them a hand. I saw you sitting there and thought, why aren't you standing? Okay, thanks. You guys may take a seat. And if I can ask the school environment group to come on up to the microphone. The clicker should be right there. And you can direct yourselves. I think the down button advances the slides. The down. I'm pretty positive because it's always counterintuitive.
Should I point it?
I don't know. Where do they point it? It just will work. You don't have to just point wherever you want to go. The room gets it. Okay.
Okay.
And you can, move that to.
Okay, hi, my name is Adriana Espinosa Cervantes. I'm from Jefferson High School and I'm a senior.
My name is Angela Chin. I'm a senior at Jefferson High School.
Hi, I'm Bianca Slater Santos, and I'm a junior from Terra Nova High School.
Hi, I'm Ramona Orlando. I'm a sophomore at Terra Nova High School.
Hi, I'm Romina Pastrana. I'm a senior at Jefferson High School. Good evening. So our group is called the School Environment Group, and our focus of our group is, we came up with multiple things. The first one was our school atmosphere, cleanliness, cleaning, basically save the environment, green. And our second one was research on improving school environment, hashtag, the yonder pouches, and the effects and the future of them. So our progress, it was mainly, we started off as a Stop It app group, but then as we started thinking about ideas of how to improve it, we started thinking it's more of a serious issue and it's something we couldn't figure out in just the span amount of time we have. So we decided to do a smaller milestone, which was cleanliness and improving the school environment, which is why we changed our group name. And because of that, we shifted our focus to more everyday issues. And basically that's what we have now. So, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. We also did research on improving school environment, specifically yonder pouches, as they have been implemented at Terra Nova, and we just researched on the data and effects that it has had at Terra Nova.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this was done at Jefferson High School because for bathroom school cleanliness, we just thought that most of the bathrooms were not clean enough, and our principal agreed to that too. And so that's why we only have one bathroom that's open during class time and two bathrooms that are open during brunch and lunch. So we sent a bathroom school cleanliness, or just about a school cleanliness form to students, and we received 57 responses. But our most significant statistic was that 20 students answered that the bathrooms needed the most attention. And here's a quote from a student. Yes, there's a lock in a bathroom that I see is about to fall off and it doesn't fit well. I don't like the part. Almost all the bathrooms are closed half of the time.
Okay, moving on to our objectives. Jefferson, actually we met with our principal, Mr. Harrigan, to help us solve the issue with cleanliness, not just in the bathroom, but like the whole school in general. And the plan was approved to help like improve the student mood and focus. And like we implemented the idea of call buttons. But while the buttons were ordered and a presentation was ready to be presented, we were unable to set up like assemblies for all students just because of the opportunities were all occupied during that time due to like year-end announcements and presentations.
Before I start off on this portion, I would like to show you the Yonder pouch itself. I decided to bring mine in as a Terranova student and show it to you. It's a little gray pouch. We store our phones in it. And the information I'm about to share is how much it has changed the schools. Along with that, I would like to show that our school newspaper is constantly reporting and informing the students about the Yonder pouches. On this slide, you can clearly observe that the information provided by Terranova teachers was consistent in many aspects. Considering the fact that I only had 25 teacher responses, but that was more than enough for us to understand this information. The first thing that stands out is how 88% of teachers mentioned improved their students' focus as a 4 or 5 on a scale of a 1 to a 5 that we had done for our survey. While the same number is present for the student's social interaction, as well as the total impact for the teacher's teaching skills. But the main point here is not only the information presented, but also the way that the results affect teaching itself. There's evidence that students become more engaged and focused on their tasks, interacting with other students, and show lower rates of off-task behavior. These assumptions can be observed in the quotes present on the right-hand side, I guess, my right, my right. I had to think about that, where teachers mention that students have become more engaged and eager to communicate. In particular, one of the teachers emphasizes that how they talk more, the students, without being preoccupied by phone conversations. Besides, another teacher mentions that taking away phones lowers the rates of distraction and stress among students.
We also sent out a form to the teachers from the other schools that currently do not have a phone ban. Oh yeah, we got 87 responses from the other schools, including Oceana, Westmore, Jefferson, and Thornton. As you can see on the pie chart on the bottom left, the majority of our responses were from Westmore and Jefferson teachers, but that corresponds with the fact that those schools are bigger and there's more teachers. We did get less responses from Oceana and Thornton, but they have less teachers because their schools are smaller. As you can see on the graph right above that, this is a survey question was asking teachers to rate phone disruption, how much phones disrupted their teaching. And as you can see, 75% of the teachers rated it on a 4 to 5 on a scale of 1 to 5, and the other quarter rated it from 1 to 3. And there were similar patterns in other questions that we had asked. 69% of the teachers said that Yonder pouches would likely improve the focus and participation of their students if they were implemented, and 66% of teachers said it would likely improve the school and social environment. Most teachers already have a classroom phone policy implemented, but rate them only moderately effective, and support is positive overall for implementing Yonder pouches and bring it to other schools. Some significant quotes that we got from our survey is that the attention spans are decreasing and students do not interact in a human way with each other anymore. Another teacher stated that students are less engaged and they do not talk to others, and without phones, they communicate. And lastly, one of the teachers said that it probably depends on how the phone policy is implemented and monitored.
Now I have the part of what the surveys suggest for future use. This slide highlights some of the findings that are drawn from the broader surveys across both groups. First of all, the commonest problem that is student engagement. As stated above in point number 1, there are notable improvements according to Terranova teachers. The teachers who do not have Yonder claim that the cell phones are the biggest barrier in participation. The second commonality is the element of experience. Terranova teachers' responses are more assured, while those with the other are more speculative because they assume instead of having tried it out. This comes out clearly in point number 2. As I just said, it comes out clearly in point number 2. Thirdly, implementation counts. In point number 3, it's clear that although the teachers support the idea, they are very concerned about the need to have a proper system of enforcement and management of expectations in place. Obviously, it is hard to manage a bunch of students and tell them, hey, you got to keep your phone locked up. You got to keep it locked up. And sometimes maybe kids will sneak it, but you could see how enforcement might be a thing teachers might be worried about. The last common factor is the social benefit. Reducing cell phone usage results in increased social interaction among students. The recommendation section says that the suggestion here is to take the case of Terra Nova teachers as an example and plan a staged approach to implementation to the other schools. This involves defining the implementation framework, training teachers, communicating with parents, and others.
Our final evaluation. Throughout the course of our group brainstorming, a focus to present to you all, we decided to reestablish and rename our group as the School Environment Group. Initially, we were the School Problems Group, but we felt that this limited our focus a bit because of the challenge of finding a singular solution to problems that vary in severity and effect from schools throughout the district. Essentially, changing our focus to improving school environments, considering the differences of schools across the district, has been more productive. Thank you so much.
And ladies, if you want to stay there, the board may have some questions or comments for you.
Ask away.
Anyone? Students? Ms. Tejada looks like she might have a question. too.
How did you go about giving the surveys?
For the yonder pouches?
Yeah, the yonder pouches and also for the school environment, the cleanliness. But
so we had the help of Ms. Presta helping us send out the surveys and stuff. We kept them very simple, around 8 questions. And part of the questions we also had if the teachers wanted to get more specific with their information, and we got a lot of responses in that. Far too big of answers to add to slides, but it was very interesting information to receive from the teachers, and we would not have been able to get that information without Ms. Presta's help of sending them out.
Oh, great.
Thank you. Miss Presta had Miss Baca's help.
Okay. And so
the kids made great surveys and Miss Baca got them to the right people for me.
We have that survey information handy.
Oh, we do.
Yes?
The kids,
Okay.
yeah.
That's really great. And who did the slide? It's really amazing. Okay.
It was a Canva template.
It's fantastic. Wow. Okay.
Well, I think this was a very well put together presentation. It just really reminds me of like even a capstone when you're in college and, just the whole coming up with the name. And then it's like, okay, this is going to be our focus. Okay, that's not going to work. So we're going to pivot. I heard a lot of pivoting. I thought that was very smart. And just how you thought of not your own school, but the other schools, and the fact that some of you are going to still be here next year to really see the continuation. Excellent.
Considering, we just updated and passed the cell phone policy several meetings back. This is pretty timely information. Because we know that there's been some good data just from the first semester of the Yonder Pouches that Ms. Terry shared with us early on, and now that we've got nearly a full year of data and your survey information, and that's powerful data that we'll be able to carry forward, especially as you note in your recommendations. And also to the 3 of you from Jefferson, great job just making sure you're reaching out to understand what are the most important issues to your local community as well, and identifying it and keep that up, because I think you might see that it's going to be something that your fellow students will want to focus on next year, but there may be new issues that come up as well. So well done.
Yeah.
Could you also describe the call buttons?
Right. So the call buttons were essentially when you press the button, it calls a caretaker. That's what the call buttons were advertised for on Amazon. But we were going to place them in the bathrooms because most of the time, the sanitary products are out of order, and the toilet paper is
there's no toilet paper. And the trash cans, as you saw in like the images, are sometimes really full. We just thought like having the call buttons there to call like a staff to check up on the bathrooms would be good, especially with like a lot of students smoking in the bathrooms.
Oh, that doesn't happen. No. So I know. Well, they're truthful. They're truthful. So, so you worked with Mr. Harrigan to get this ordered, and so you're coming up with a plan on who it will, when the call button is activated, who will it go to?
Right. It will like show a number to the administration. So the numbers will be in the office, and then the office would be able to like contact the security guards since they all have walkie-talkies.
Right. Okay. That's great.
Thank you very much. Nice job. You're pointing at me. And I don't-
Sorry, there's somebody who wants to speak.
Somebody wants to speak. Please do. Thank you.
I just want to say that I'm really proud of you guys, especially after seeing all the innovation and work you've put into this at every meeting. And I also want to say thank you to Ramona for shouting out the Terra Nova newspaper because I edited that page.
I'm also really thankful that you guys took time to like investigate and really take your time with the yonder pouches. I know especially at Westmore, we have a town hall meeting coming up. So as a graduating senior, my hope is that, people are able to come to a conclusion with, especially with the data that you guys have gathered.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, all right.
I
sorry,
just really
Marina.
like to congratulate you guys. This is a really interesting presentation, and you guys kept everybody very engaged. And honestly, this shined light on something that I didn't really know was an issue. So that's really impressive, and I applaud you for that.
That's great. Intentional look.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Next, we have the wellness group.
So we're the wellness group. We're focusing on tackling wellness issues and supporting initiatives across the district.
Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Yes.
Hi everyone, my name is Violet. I am a senior at Oceana High School. And I joined the wellness group because I've always taken an interest in mental health and people's experiences throughout not just my school, but the district and also the county, and seeing what we can. I wanted to get involved in improving the resources that we already have to offer.
Hello, I'm Dominic Presta from Oceana. I joined the wellness group and student advisory kind of as a whole because I thought that joining this body would really give me an avenue to make my voice heard and the voice of, sorry, I'm raising this up, the voice of my student body kind of heard. And I thought it would be a really good avenue to kind of make real change and action for not just Oceana, but the broader district.
I'm Eva Imperato. I'm a senior at Oceana. I chose the wellness group because mental health is a topic that's really important to me, and it's something I'm really passionate about, and I want to make sure that it's something that that gets a lot of focus.
Hi, my name is Ethan. I'm a sophomore at Westmore High School. I mainly joined the wellness group because I saw a lot of my peers at Westmore kind of not aware of the resources of mental health, and I also want to break the unhealthy stigma around mental health.
Hi, my name is Camila Chalim. I'm a senior at Thorian High School, and the reason I joined wellness is because I feel like in continuation schools, it's not something that's really spoken about, especially mental health. And so I thought that joining wellness would be like a good way to like advocate for students, especially at continuation schools.
Hi, my name is Naomi, and I go to Thornton High School, and I joined the wellness group because I feel like
mental health is really important. I feel like that people don't really spread awareness about it.
So our essential question is, how can we work with campus wellness foundations and departments to best support students at each school?
Okay, initially when we were discussing some of the issues and some of the goals we wanted to solve at our schools for mental health, we came up with promoting opportunities for student involvement in wellness departments, ensuring wellness check-ins are accessible as possible, and reform counselor request process. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that it was easier for students to assign meetings with their wellness counselors. And lastly, we wanted to normalize mental health awareness.
So, in relation to our topic and the broader question that we wanted to explore that involved this group that we all joined, here are some. We did some research on some statistics throughout San Mateo County for the experiences of youth in the past years regarding situations of crises or otherwise harmful ideological situations. So we found that 22% of girls and 13% of boys said that they had considered attempting suicide within the past years through 2020 to 2023. Local hospital data shows a steady increase between 2009 and 2015 in emergency room visits due to adolescent suicide or intentional self-inflicted injuries. And this also follows a broader trend in recent years across the country, not just the county, that shows an increase in students experiencing mental health issues. In local neighborhoods, the need for mental health support emerged as a top priority when residents of other neighborhoods and residential areas were surveyed. These statistics all add to the importance of our studies that we got ourselves involved with throughout the year of providing more avenues for students who are interested in getting involved with promoting resources and making people aware of just how dire these issues can be. These just support basically why we became involved.
Okay, for universal check-ins, initially we thought that it would be important for every student to have a annual check-in with their wellness counselors at least once a year. And we thought this would be kind of nice because we felt that a lot of students kind of didn't know how to meet up with their wellness counselors. And even if like they were like undergoing issues, they didn't know how to reach out to them. And we thought it would be nice that with these check-ins that each student would be getting all the resources that they needed. So the official definition we came up with were check-ins with their counselors that each student would have at least once with them in a school year. And our objective was, Westmore, when meeting with my wellness counselor, we actually concluded that it wouldn't be feasible to have these universal check-ins. And because when speaking to him, he told us that on average, in one school year, they are only able to meet with at least 1/3 of the student body. And that's probably because Westmore's overall student body population is pretty large. But we were brainstorming new ideas to reach our ideal targets, if not being able to reach the whole student body.
At Thornton, we plan on making workshops twice a month that would be focused on wellness, and this would also allow students to earn.
Okay. And then at Oceana, I had a really long meeting. Violet and I had a really long meeting with our wellness counselors multiple times throughout the year. And I'll be referencing that later in the presentation. But universal wellness check-ins are something that we brought up in that meeting. And in talking to the wellness counselors, we learned that they tried this in the past couple of years. Then a couple of years ago, they tried universal wellness check-ins, and they only were able to get to like, I think halfway through the sophomore class, going from the freshmen up to the seniors. And so it didn't seem super feasible, like what Ethan said. And so it's in the Oceana 5-year wellness kind of plan to either reattempt wellness check-ins, but at this point, they're currently utilizing kind of group presentations. So going into a lot of freshman classes and underclassmen classes, just to kind of get their face out there so the students know who they are, resources that they have, kind of how to contact them as best as possible, because universal wellness check-ins are kind of a difficult thing because there's so many students kind of at all high schools.
Oh, also, one thing I wanted to add was we took into account that if we had universal check-ins with each student, we realized that students go like into phases with their issues. Sometimes it might be harder to deal with mental health towards the end of the school year with like AP tests and finals. So we thought that was another reason why we didn't think it would be possible. And then some of the potential ideas that we were brainstorming was an initial screening process. We thought that although we couldn't reach the full student body, we thought that at the beginning of the year, if we had an initial screening process, we could reach the targeted audience and the students that probably needed more help fixing with their issues. And kind of how we thought this would be like a Google form that students would have to fill out during the beginning of the year assembly. And another idea that we had was community circles. We thought that this would allow the wellness counselors to reach more students during the school year. And this could be led by potentially our peer assistants or trained facilitators. And then the last idea we came up with was partner check-ins. We thought that this would be more kind of like, instead of a bigger group, we thought that it would be nice to have a 2 partner check-in with students who were dealing with kind of similar issues and with this similar backgrounds, so they could like relate with each other. And we thought it would be nice where they would be able to meet on their own, but then also with a few check-ins, like maybe like around once a school year or something, they could meet with the wellness counselor as a pair, which would be nice. Yeah.
So for one way we were thinking of making mental health like counseling more available was expanding, I guess, the way we're going about the counselor request process. So for both Westmore and Oceana, there are QR codes if you'd like to meet with a counselor that you can scan. And they're kind of posted around the school, but among our group and among the people that we've talked to at our schools, very few people actually utilize those QR codes. And when we were brainstorming, we thought that could be attributed to how public they are, with people maybe not feeling comfortable being seen scanning those QR codes, with maybe there being stigma around that. So we brainstormed some other ways that we could have students request to meet with counselors. So the first one of those ways that we thought was we could make bookmarks with QR codes to meet with counselors on the back of them. This way students can scan them wherever they want. It doesn't have to be in public. They can have it with them too. So if they need to meet and they don't see any QR codes around, they can just have their bookmark and they can scan it there. Another way we were thinking of was for Terra Nova, at least we could do yonder pouches. Like there could be perhaps like a little sticker or something that we put on the yonder pouches, just making that QR code more accessible. Another way we were thinking is maybe an easy access link. So we were kind of brainstorming if it's possible to put like links to requesting counselors on like school websites or on like ASB websites, if that could be something we could do. And then the last way we were thinking, we could also do this maybe with little stickers. We could put the QR codes on the back of student IDs, and that way everyone just has it from the start of the year and they can utilize it whenever they need to.
Oh, also something to add for the easy access link. We were thinking that since the academic counselors meet with each student towards the beginning of the school year, we were thinking that the wellness counselors could also meet with those students during the same meeting, just to show them kind of how to access the link and just for the beginning of the school year so that students could easily use it throughout the year.
So, one of our main objectives this year was more student involvement in wellness. Something that I noticed while I was making an effort to make myself more aware of the resources that were offered at Oceana is that we have an abundance of them. We have a whole hallway, a wellness hallway where we have access to a chill room. We have a whole bookshelf with pamphlets for students to read through and scan, and basically a lot of ways for students to feel recognized. But these are all provided by our wellness department officials. There isn't really an opportunity on our campus for students to become involved with our wellness department. So we actually turned to Westmore, and with Ethan's help, we were able to learn more about their peer assistance program. So peer assistance at Westmore is a year-long course where students learn to be resources to their peers at Westmore High School themselves, with the goal of promoting positive change and making the school a better community than it already is. So where does this fit into Oceana? Well, Oceana already has abundant wellness resources, as I was talking about. We also have themed advisories already. So for reference, if anyone was unaware, an advisory is a 45-minute period, 50-minute period, close to an hour, a little bit under, at the end of each week, where students of similar grade levels are able to meet up. And it's not exactly a study hall, but it is an opportunity for students who normally wouldn't share classes to just come together as a grade. It's usually where surveys are distributed, and it's basically a check-in period. It's smaller groups of students, so it's easier for whichever teacher is the advisor to check in with each individual. The themed advisories that we currently offer are our garden advisory, where students can go into our school-ran garden and help out in that regard. We also have a yearbook advisory where students help curate our yearbook. And then we have our associated student body advisory, wherein student leaders come together and do planning and relay announcements to the other grades. So if we wanted to have a class or a related opportunities to peer assistance, a themed advisory would be the best opportunity to do so, which we established after conferring with our academic council at Oceana. Dominic actually presented to them about, he reviewed the peer assistance class syllabus with them and discussed potentially bringing this as an advisory option in future years. We also discussed this with our wellness department, who is interested in creating this class for students who are very curious about being able to have these skills to be able to help out their friends and family outside of school. This could also be an opportunity for students to earn community service hours, as they are a graduation requirement at Oceana. It's also an opportunity to bring county initiatives in through the various commissions that do deal in mental health and crisis recovery services.
Okay, now I'll speak a little bit more about kind of some of the stuff that we talked about with our wellness counselors. For context, some of us in this group who are from Oceana met with our social worker, Ms. Kahayan, and our wellness counselor, Ms. Jeanette. And we covered a lot of various topics, like Violet mentioned, peer assistance, as well as kind of bullying at Oceana. And so though bullying is not a huge issue at Oceana, there have been certain instances that bullying has kind of become an issue or come up. I mean, personally, I experienced bullying at Oceana in my early years. And so this was kind of a personal subject and kind of a touching subject for me to explore this year. So in talking with them, we kind of were looking deeper at like, what does bullying look like at Oceana? It's not as like the textbook definition of like shoving somebody into a locker. That's not kind of what it looks like. It's much more underground kind of like social issues that arise. And through that kind of talking about what it looks like, we decided that like we should look at how wellness hears about like bullying and hears about kind of social issues happening on campus. And so one way is through the Stop It app, but we kind of talk about kind of the drawbacks and the good parts of Stop It. But there's also kind of from admin hearing about like students going to admin saying, hey, I'm experiencing this. And then obviously going to wellness straight up. So we, in conjunction with wellness, we created a kind of Oceana conflict contact framework. So if some sort of social issue kind of happens, a student can immediately go to admin and then they can start an investigation into the bullying issue, and then they can have some sort of conversation and reconciliation with the two parties, creating a better situation than what started. Or students can go to wellness counselors. So once they meet with the wellness counselors can go towards, towards the left to the admin route, looking at kind of investigations and conversations with the students, or they can have a conversation with wellness counselors. And from that conversation, there's kind of two routes that could happen. There could be there's kind of three. There's one, they have a conversation with wellness and they pick a path that's not exactly in this framework, but the main ones are a restorative conversation with the two parties. This is a big thing at Oceana that happens, I think, pretty often, that like when there's a social issue, the counselors facilitate this conversation with the two parties so they can come to a better conclusion and come to a amicable state so that our student body is flourishing. There's also, they can lead them to self-sought resources that I highlighted here, like the crisis text line, the Youth Point Health, Pacifica Resource Center, and San Mateo County Rapid Response Hotline. The counselors and I felt like this is super important to have this conflict contact framework so that it was abundantly clear to the students that when a conflict happens, what are your options? What can you do and how can you get support in that? And with that, thank you.
Anyone have any questions?
Comments?
Andy, comments too?
Yep. Really well done. Again, backed up by data, which is solid, and then doing the research to find that pathway forward. So I commend you on that. And there's a lot of really thoughtful things in here that I think we should certainly consider doing. At least, which is why you're doing these presentations in the first place. So really well done. I'm pretty excited about how we can implement this in some capacity.
Okay, I'll go next. That was amazing. Okay, so just hearing you speak, I used to work at the juvenile hall. So that's where I retired from. So I worked with a lot of kids that were under similar stresses to kids that are not in the juvenile hall, but they just have a little bit of extra. And I just appreciate your thoughtfulness and just wanting to really educate the adults to why mental health is so important. But while you're educating the adults, you're also making it normalized for your fellow student. So it's just totally fine, because in the juvenile hall, the kids are more apt to ask to speak with someone. And if I were to mention it, they're more apt to say yes. You know what I'm saying? Potentially because their stress is about to tip over, when the balloon is getting ready to burst. So possibly. I just like some of the ideas. I just really like starting the year off with a form. You know what I'm saying? So you kind of just have the student pre-gauge where they are, and then just have a little QR code to stick on the ID. It's like perfect. You're just killing all these birds with a stone. It's just fabulous. I can't wait to see how this progresses. Very good work. Very good work. Thank you.
Wow, so many great ideas, and you guys were really thoughtful, really, really thoughtful. And I think one of the big things is, the problems with accessibility, and you talk about stigma. And it's just needing to normalize why. I think students now are more apt to, they're the ones who are saying, we need this, This is important for us. And you guys really, really emphasize that so well. And all the different, I could just see how you're brainstorming all the different ways to do it. And I know that in our district, a few years ago, we really felt the need to have more wellness counselors. And part of that was Student Advisory Council. That was a huge thing, that we need more wellness counselors. And the district listened and said, yes, we know we do. We're going to try to find the money to do that. But this just so many different ways. I really am looking forward to seeing how we can implement a lot of this. Just great, great ideas. Thank you so much.
It was not lost on me that you used the verbiage that you typically use with your seniorettes for your Oceana seniors, because you did start off with the phrase, the essential question. So I appreciate you incorporating what you've learned into this presentation.
I'd like to piggyback on that. I saw a lot of themes of leadership as you went through. I just made a couple notes about them just now. Universal check-in, so it's for everybody. It's health related, which concerns everyone. There's elements of service in being a bridge to all this. I wrote down again, it's for everyone. I don't have good words for this, but you've made it okay for everyone to have a way to talk about this. You made it accessible. I think that's what I'm looking for. And at the same time, you're able to encourage people to keep their privacy. And I think that there's a lot of themes of leadership in there. And so congratulations on doing a great job and for keeping those themes together.
I have one more thing.
Yeah, please.
What I also loved about how you approach this is that you're talking about the universal check-ins, and then when you did your homework and you talked to the adults who would be affected by this, and they told you it's not feasible. Well, you accepted it, but then what else? What can we do instead? What can we? Okay, you're saying it's not feasible. Okay, your explanations make sense to us. But what else? You weren't ready to just settle for that. You were looking for another avenue. How else can we help our students? And I think it's just fantastic how you did that.
Thank you, guys. Okay, next group up is student academics and opportunities. I'm also was reminded to ask you students to speak slowly because we have translators that this is live streamed on, I don't know, I think YouTube, and they are in real time translating what you're saying. And so if you speak really quickly, it's hard. Thank you.
Hello all. We are the student academic group, and this presentation will cover AP courses, their expenses, as well as the effort into getting more across the JUHSD district. These are our student trustees who participated in these slides. I'm Ava.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ryan. I'm a junior at Westmont High School, and this is my second year actually on this committee, so I'm really excited about the work that we did.
My name is Valerie. I'm a junior at Terra Nova High School, and this is my first year on Student Advisory Council.
Hello, everyone. My name is Casey Seipel. I'm a sophomore at Terra Nova High School, and this is my first year on Student Advisory.
Hi, everyone. My name is Elia. I'm a senior at Terra Nova High School, and this is my third year on Student Advisory.
Hi, everyone. I'm Avni Rajan. I'm a current junior at Oceana, and this is my second year.
So the focus of our presentation, we mainly wanted to expand opportunities for more students, and we found that one of the easiest ways was to focus on AP, so that will be the first section of our presentation. AP courses are integral to introducing students to more challenging and college-level coursework that will, of course, better prepare them for college-level work. And through a couple of preliminary surveys that we sent out, we found that students who just concerning APs were either uninterested in current coursework or were actively seeking more. So our solution to that was to expand possible AP coursework and see specifically what courses students would be most interested in. So we sent out forms to all the JUHSD schools to review what students were specifically unsatisfied with. We met with school principals and administrators to see if adding courses was even feasible, and sent out forms to teachers to see what would encourage them to possibly get AP certified or what was specifically stopping them from teaching AP courses.
All right, so with the data that we got back from surveying both teachers and students throughout the schools, some common things that prevented schools from adding more APs was financial support, time and workload, and lack of interest or signups. Many teachers said that if they were to teach an AP class, they would want an extra class to kind of prep for their AP class and extra time to grade work. And with that extra time, they would want to be paid for those hours. So finding the funds was one of the things that prevented them. Also, a lot of students weren't really sure exactly what APs they would want to sign up for. For example, we had a lot of students at Terra Nova that wanted to sign up for AP Physics, but Terra Nova doesn't even have a college prep physics course. So we would have to go through the college prep courses first to get the APs. So it's kind of spread with the level of interest, but yeah.
So after much research, we decided and we found a formal AP course recommendations for JUHSD. So what we did was we surveyed students across JUHSD about their opinions of AP classes at their schools. These students were from all grade levels. This included questions like, what prevents you from taking AP classes? What classes would you like to see at your schools? So we got 233 responses across all the schools. And our main objective was to analyze which AP classes students would like to see at their respective schools that are not already offered. So while we sent this form to every school, we decided to focus on our smallest schools, Terra Nova and Oceana. When we were looking at the data, we felt like there were more similarities in the responses for these schools compared to Jefferson and Westmore, whose responses differed more drastically. With when I was looking through the data personally, I could only the most similar response would be like 6 people saying the same thing. And with big schools like that, it's not really enough. So we found that AP Biology seemed like a course that many students at Terra Nova and Oceana were interested in. Of the 153 Terra Nova students that filled out our survey, around 33% of them collectively expressed interest in an AP Bio course. And though we had a smaller group of people responding for Oceana, 46% of Oceana respondents also said the same thing. Another class that we kept seeing show up on our responses was AP Physics. It was frequently mentioned with around 14% of Terra Nova respondents saying that they were interested in taking this class. However, college prep physics isn't currently offered due to, as Avani said, lack of interest, though many students may not want to take a college prep course when for higher level sciences, we already have 2 other APs. We have APES and we have AP Chem. So they may see taking a college prep course as maybe less impressive, or they would rather take an AP for the college apps. However, if AP Physics was offered, there may be more interest. So overall, we believe that adding AP Biology to Terra Nova and Oceana course catalogs would be feasible and beneficial for students. This would give students more options for science classes that may fit with their interests and their future goals.
I just want to note that Terra Nova's current college prep biology teacher has confirmed interest in teaching AP biology, there's her email up there, but she's concerned about some of the needs that a lot of teachers throughout the district have, which I'm about to explain. So we surveyed teachers from all around the district with the help of Ms. Presta distributing it for us. And while they did have unique concerns in the way they described them, a lot of the main concerns were very universal, with the first being they need an increased stipend or income, because while AP courses are very rigorous and fast-paced for students, this means it's also more rigorous and fast-paced for teachers. And so they feel that with this added work, they need an extra stipend or income to go with it. And then the second reason, they felt that the ideology behind AP courses and the environment it brings to certain schools does not align with their beliefs. First of all, AP courses contain a set curriculum created by College Board, and it limits the teacher's freedom and input in the courses and maybe lacks some components or aspects of critical thinking that they might want to include but don't have time for, with the College Board curriculum itself being so rigorous. And then also, it may create a toxic student environment due to increased student competition, and also through tracking, where a lot of students who start on a certain pathway end up in APs. And so you see a lot of the same groups of students, while other students feel that they can't get into them. And the third reason that was very significant, especially to me, was support. Overall, a lot of teachers throughout the district acknowledged that there was a satisfactory amount of support from the district and individual schools, helping them get access to AP certification training in whatever subject they were interested in teaching. However, like Avani said, a lot of teachers expressed the need for an additional prep period. While it may be provided, they may be assigned to too many classes to have this accessible in their schedule. And so they essentially emphasize that this is a non-negotiable, especially for a lot of teachers who feel held back from teaching an AP class currently. And another concern was that there isn't enough student readiness, and especially some of those teachers who said that emphasized that without honors classes, while they see the ideology behind that, in students' regular college prep classes, or maybe they didn't take a class at all in the subject before this, students haven't been able to have the baseline knowledge expected before they take the AP class. So then teachers have to do more work to teach the basics, which goes right back to the first point, where they don't feel like they're being seen.
Yeah, so that was the bulk of our first project about AP adding AP classes. But we also wanted to work on projects that were more involved in the school community. And one problem that we identified was that the process of starting a club is pretty difficult to understand, and most of the information is coming from adults within the schools. If you look at like Westmore High School, for example, around 70% of our clubs are started by upperclassmen. And so I just thought that was a really missed opportunity for freshmen and sophomores to get right into this culture of cultivating these educational spaces. And the second part of the problem is that we think there is not too much of a friendly resource or support system for younger students. And we think that clubs are a really integral part of creating a more educationally diverse and motivating environment. So on a note, we worked on the Club Information Resource Guide, and it's written by student advisory council members between all of us. And while we don't represent every school, we hope to continue working on this in future years to add more documentation. But it goes through a lot of key concepts like starting a club, which is called chartering, affiliation with external organizations, outreach, meetings, and also planning school events. At the moment, it's been added to a district newsletter, and it's also been sent to individual schools, although not all of them just yet. And this is also something that's kind of personal to me. I started the TEDx Westmore High School Student Club in my freshman year, and I really wouldn't have been possible without the support of our activities coordinator and my advisor. And I just hope that in the future we can have more students cultivating that culture and make it so that there are like friendly students around the corner who they feel comfortable talking about it with. And yeah.
All right, so just to sum up our overall findings, AP Biology would be the most feasible class to add to both Terra Nova and Oceana's course catalogs. And teachers and administrators expressed a lack of payment, especially for the extra work required in teaching AP classes, as their biggest obstacle. Thank you.
Yeah, I have some comments. I think the student guide that your committee was able to provide is really helpful, especially as like a firm believer of spaces for students to thrive and learn. One comment I do have is that I think that while our district definitely, especially with your survey, has a lack of AP classes, I think that there should also be consideration of other classes and opportunities that may not be like the traditional AP experience for students to grow, because I think those are equally as important for students.
To respond to that, we originally started this project with implementing honors and AP classes, but we had kind of found out that honors classes were only mainly available at Terra Nova, and they themselves were also trying to cut down on honors classes just because it was like another class, but you get the grade boost, but you don't get like the college like prep points. And so, yeah, I think the district was trying to cut down on honors classes, so we wanted to focus primarily on AP classes.
Yeah, and on this, I just wanted to add that while we did start brainstorming at the start of our project, a lot of goals for other opportunities and classes, this is what we decided to focus on because it was what was most manageable in our time frame, and we totally hear what you're saying.
Well, I think this is a very well put together presentation. And honestly, I really don't know that much about AP classes. I've just heard about it. I think the best we had was advanced biology or something when I went to high school. But I really like how you pivoted based on the time frame that you had. I liked how you even pivoted and said, okay, this can't even work for all of the schools, then we're going to narrow it down to the smaller schools. Just getting the input of the teachers. This is just really high level investigative. I mean, this is just excellent work that you've done. And the fact that you have done a guide for freshmen, well, for all the students, is just impressive, because I remember how it was the first day of high school, and it's just terrifying. It's just kind of nice to know that you're thought of, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, in 8th grade, you're like at the top of the food chain, and then you drop all the way back down after 2 months, you know what I'm saying? So thank you for this presentation. I have a lot to think about. Thank you.
I think with regard to the AP question, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you really hit all the pros and cons of the AP classes. But one of the things that I know I run into sometimes when I'm out talking to community members, people do ask me, you know, about the AP classes that are offered. And, you know, why does this school have this class and this school has that class and it's not offered at the school my kid attends? And you've just done some incredible work to identify how you can add a course and where there is interest. And that's really important data to have. So really well done. And the club information resource guide, that's brilliant. I guess I should have probably read the district newsletter on Friday, because then I should have found out about this. And clearly I did not. But this is really brilliant. So brilliant work.
Yeah, excellent work. Yeah, I run into that all the time also. But also, you know, we made a decision years ago that we would make AP accessible to everyone. So that was a big step that we took. But still, students don't know what they are. And I won't even touch master scheduling. That's like above my head. But I'm sure that you guys looked into that as well, that's a whole nother animal. Let's see, but I have a question about that club guide is amazing. Does each school have a different process for getting a club chartered?
I think there are like slight variations, but most of them have a club charter form. I know at Western we have to, like clubs had to give a pitch to the Associated Student Body Executive Board.
Right.
Not quite sure if it's like that for other schools, but want to make sure that we are like specifying for which schools to be a very clear process.
Do you know how it is at Oceana or Jeff?
I know for at least Terra Nova, we don't have to pitch it to anyone, but student interest is probably the most important thing because new clubs have to fill out a form that at least I think 25 people sign to make sure that there's interest, and then it gets approved by our principal, Ms. Carey.
And then you have to find an advisor. Yeah, I think that's pretty universal. Very cool.
At Jeff, I'm not exactly sure how it is, but I know that earlier I said that BSU was up running again because we were not active during the first semester. So recently we got more club members because there weren't that many people involved. So I think that we had to get more people involved, but it's kind of similar to how they do it at their school as well.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Nice job. I have a question. So you talked about how you did some pivoting, you made some choices about what ended up being a bit of a concentration on AP classes. Thank you. Was there anything else that stood out that you kind of regretted having to pivot away from?
I think one of the ideas we initially had that first came to mind was we were initially focusing a lot on like opportunities. So it was like the club guy that we made, but I remember another idea that we had was introducing more college tours or more collaboration with our college and career counselors.
Oh, thank you. Nice work.
Great work. Thank you. Well done. And our final group for this evening is new student integration.
Okay, so welcome to the new student integration sub.
I'm going to stop you. Sorry, I had told some kids that you guys needed to stay for everybody, but I'm seeing that they're the only row who's staying and all the other kids are leaving. So I'm going to let them go. You guys may go because I realize it's getting late. But I'm sorry. I see a bunch of people leaving and I don't want them to do it right while you're speaking. So if you need to go, you may go. But if you have time to stay for your peers, that would be nice. Okay. Adam, turning it back over to you.
Yes, thank you. So we're part of the new student integration. And I think that last year, we also worked on an interactive tool. And I think carrying it onto this year, our group was able to build upon it. So yeah, we have much exciting news for you guys. So hello, everyone. My name is Adam. I'm a senior at Westmore High School, and this is my second year serving on this subcommittee. And a main reason why I chose to join this subcommittee was because I believe that the student experience in JUHSD should be really, the integration of the whole process should be much smoother. So I really wanted to improve upon that.
Hi, my name is Shuming Tian. I'm a junior at Westmore High School, and this is my first year serving on the Student Advisory Board. The main reason why I chose the new student integration was because I myself faced these struggles when I first came to Westmore, and I wanted to make it easier for other new students to settle in Westmore.
Good evening. My name is Marina Sergieva, and I'm a current junior at Oceana. And the main reason for why I joined this subcommittee of new student integration is because I wanted to create a space that could welcome students and help them integrate into a new environment such as high school. So yeah.
My name is Edward Miles. I'm a junior at Jefferson. I joined new student integration because I feel like Jefferson, especially with its unique schedule and large student population, has a bit of intricacies that I personally needed help with when I was entering the environment. So I think it's really important that people get the help that I've needed.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Tiana. I'm a junior at Westmore High School. This is my first year on student advisory, and I wanted to join not only to bring awareness to these issues, but also find solutions for them too.
So we did a lot of brainstorming about the different issues that we've personally seen with new student integration. Our head was in a lot of different environments, but the main thing that we decided to focus on was the integration of freshmen, since they are the biggest population of new students. So after surveying a variety of students around the district, we found out that around 20% of JUHSD's class of 29 didn't know where to find basic information about their schools, like classes, clubs, or sports. And a lot of new students don't know about their school's opportunities and programs that may even involve things like scholarships.
Adding on, we discovered that 53.6% of our current freshman class have never talked to a counselor. So this shows that new students aren't familiar with our school's resources, and also that schools lack a lot of engagement with newer students.
So to summarize, we identified a significant gap in support available to students entering the JUHSD community. So many incoming students struggle to navigate their environment, connect with extracurricular opportunities, and access counseling resources, all of which are essential and beyond important for, a successful transition into high school, because it's such a different environment. So to address this, we developed a digital resource that brings together extracurricular information. It brings together the maps of the campuses and also counselor support as a whole accessible platform. So our goal was to create a practical tool that helps students from the very first day. So this resource is also now available through a QR code. So if you'd like to scan that, you can also follow along and try to interact with the website as we go ahead and give a little tutorial about how it works. Just let us know when you're ready to transition. We will get into that, I think.
Does it matter what school we follow, or is it universal?
So they're currently on the website, we have 3 different schools, so it doesn't really matter which school you follow along with. Most of them are all developed, so you guys are free to explore as we give a little tutorial about how it works.
Yeah, so initially you'll probably land at this welcome page where you get to pick the school that you want to navigate around. And then afterwards, this map will show up where there's going to be little red dots all over the map, and you can click on any of those points to get more details. So for example, we chose the Westmore High School map, and if you click on a location, it'll show something like this, where you get to see a picture, a visual representation of what it is like, and some information about that location. So for the main office, and like some contact details at Westmore. So yeah, that's basically the main gist of it. And also, I'm not sure if you can see, but there's like a navigation bar on top, and through those you can access the common questions asked for, like common questions answered for that school, the clubs that are at the school, and the counseling tab, which is linked to the counseling website for the respective school.
Okay, I'm so excited right now. Me too.
Listen,
I'm losing my mind. I'm
Excuse us while
sorry.
we don't pay attention.
I am just blown away by this. This is crazy.
I also know you're presenting,
I'm
and I've been over
sorry.
here thinking to myself, you can let them show it to you. You don't have to. No. It's we're exciting. We're exciting.
It's like when teachers pass out papers, but then they say, "Don't look at the paper yet," because we're all
We need
looking at
yonder
drafts.
pouches
I'm
for
gonna
the board.
I put my phone down so I can listen to you. But oh my goodness, wow!
Well,
We've stunned you.
based on what you've seen and will probably seen after exploring our website after our presentation, our expected outcomes of this tool is not only so that new students can feel more prepared, but we want to use it as an aid for teachers and counselors. I think that this is when given to teachers and counselors and using being used really well, like it can really be able to help students transition into high school, and it can only add to their high school experience, especially when students are given the knowledge to join organizations and clubs. And much like the previous subcommittee presented, we're like a firm believer in these organizations. And we really do hope that this starts making it a lot easier for them to start.
So looking ahead at our future goals, after we've collected data from over 250 students district-wide, and creating our website, we still have identified several key areas for growth. So we intend to expand to other campuses such as Terra Nova and Thornton. As you guys have seen, the website does not include those campuses, but we are anticipating on adding those. And we also intend on collaborating directly with counselors and teachers to integrate this into a new student integration process. So for example, at Oceana, we've spoken with counselors about, so a little bit of background, Oceana students receive a folder with resources that they can access as a freshman. And we have created a resource with a QR code, so a flyer that will also be placed into their folder. So that will be a resource they can access. As well, as well, we also plan to work further on our wellness resources with the counseling team, maybe in relation to the wellness committee. So we want to make resources much easier to find because, as the wellness committee has stated, resources are accessible, especially in Oceana's case, but they're rarely ever used and utilized. And lastly, we want to improve the overall accessibility of our website so that every student can benefit from such a resource. So right now, while it's still, only for 3 schools, we want to work further to expand our horizon and obviously to incorporate more counseling aspect with like wellness counselor and make it overall a platform where students can get any information they may need. Thank you. Any questions?
Wow. I have so many questions. How did you develop this? How did you do this?
So this is like a continuation of the student integration. Yeah, the new student integration project from last year.
Yeah.
I initially made it for Westmore last year, and this year we expanded it to 2 more schools. Yeah.
I don't even have words for what I just experienced. I think it's amazing. And this is just going to always be with the schools. So I already see it expanding. It's already expanded in my mind, because this is just the new way. And the way that the ghosts remind me of Pac-Man.
Yeah, exactly.
I was excellent. Absolutely excellent. And I'm always concerned with that portion of the population that's missed, that just slides under the radar. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, this made me consider them. And that's like the first group that I thought of. And it's like, yes, we want, and if you just start as freshmen, maybe we won't lose people, I don't know. Thank you for this presentation. Excellent.
Like, if I could add on to your point, I think the wellness group made a point about how accessibility for like a counselor, there's this stigma about, scanning QR codes to get in touch with a wellness counselor. But we feel like as a group, this resource could be something where those students that are, inherently a little bit more introverted might want to access, and they will get the resources they need through a more digital platform. Mm-hmm. So I totally agree with your point of getting to every student equally.
And thank you. Well, actually, all the groups really are working for everyone. Mm-hmm. So it's just very impressive. Thank you so much.
The fact that 4 of you are going to be back for 1 more year to help build this out even further is very exciting. And I look forward to seeing how you train others behind you so that this continues on in perpetuity, and just really well done. This is really literally out of the box thinking, and I hate using that phrase, but I have to use it in this case because it's very clear. this is a necessary resource. And will this QR code also be in the district newsletter, I wonder? So fantastic work. Really well done.
Great work. Now, I know this is all developed by students, and for it to be more broadly distributed in the district, I would invite input from, our leaders at the district. Talk to them, because I could see this I used to try to navigate when my son was in school, it was hard navigating the website to find bell schedules, all this stuff. If I had this, I would be able to find things so easily. And then also, this would be great for, when we have our open houses. If people want to get more information about each school, they have it handy. Even here, how many credits do I need to graduate? You have so many different things that you've thought of, but I would love to get this expanded. It's just fantastic.
So the tech is cool. Congratulations. And it's useful, and a lot of things that people say in internet workflow meetings, congratulations. That's fantastic. A few meetings ago at Student Advisory, Trustee Gallegos came up to me and he said, "Do you know what they're doing over there?" I said, I sat on their group a little bit, and he goes, no, man, this is pretty cool. So I wanted to say that because he's not here right now to say it. So congratulations on all that. I didn't say something to everyone, and you can only say it after the last, maybe it takes the last group to kind of notice the patterns. I hope that this experience has been great for all of you. It's been great to see you go through it. It's been great to be in your student advisory meetings and see your groups grow. I hope there's a way to get this on your resume, on your college applications, your scholarship applications, whatever you do next. I hope there's a way you can find to do that. Maybe there's a way that someone who sees this can recommend you for something. Keep that in mind. I think that it goes for all the groups. I still see themes of leadership. All the groups, again, talking about personal motivation, problem solving, service, raising awareness, taking care of the inexperienced people. That's a common theme. This one's cool because it's modern, has some it factor going on. And I think that it's fantastic to see these leadership traits. Congratulations.
So I'm sorry that I didn't navigate all the kids staying, but I'm really grateful that some of you did stay. And there were a couple kids who went out right after you presented, because I know that some of your peers saw you guys working, but everybody was kind of working on their own. And I hope that they take a look at it, because this was really great. All of the groups worked really hard. And as I said at the beginning, we did it differently this year. I kind of gave more input than I usually do, kind of was more teachery. And I feel like I'm really excited, as was said, that many of you are going to be continuing on, because I just see it growing even more in the coming year. Thank you. I'm sorry that you're out so late, but thank you for staying, and have a good night.
Everyone. If you haven't seen Superintendent Presta in teacher mode, you should get a look at it. I feel like so once again, students in the room, I feel like we should celebrate or something before we just move on with the agenda. But we'll just have to satisfy ourselves with the action items and public hearings.
No.
There's one more.
Actually,
One more.
Sorry.
Mr. Bashir is going to
Oh.
follow that.
I'm so sorry.
We've got another fabulous presentation.
16B1 School Spotlight, the Adult Education Program, which is just across the parking lot. Principal Bashir's.
Well, I usually don't have a problem following other acts. But that was genuinely exciting. I'm just blown away by that. And they were all fantastic, but boy, they saved the knockout punch for the last thing, didn't they? That was amazing. Well, thank you guys so much for letting me spotlight the Jefferson Adult Division. Okay. Oh, you guys can't hear me over there? Usually they can always hear me. So, yeah, as you can see, I picked a nice classic Daly City weather day to take a photo of the school. So just a quick overview. The adult division includes the adult transition program. These are adults with IEPs, ages 18 to 22. We also have the adult education program, and this is well, I'll break it down for you. We'll start first with ATP. We use this program. This is to empower students with extensive support needs to achieve progress. We're focusing on their independence. And actually, this all came from the guidance from our director, Lee Medvedoff, and the program that he went through at San Francisco State. And these were the 5 things that he really wanted us to focus on when we both started collaborating on ATP. That's focusing on student independence, job skills, assisted obviously by our fabulous transition department and the job coaches that we have over there. And to kind of dig into that for just a little bit, we also are so pleased that, with this community that we're in. We have Ace Hardware, Dave & Buster's, Walgreens, Youth Point, Costco, Classic Bowl, that these guys and others that open up their institutions and let our students come in and work on these vocational skills. And I should also recognize Kim Schrader, and you got to see it the other day, the vocational training room that we have upstairs, which is kind of unique and sort of, a crown jewel of the ATP program. We also focus on community participation. ATP students spend a lot of time in the community working on pedestrian safety, learning how to navigate, Samtrans and BART, visiting the library, shopping for nutrition lessons. Also, once a week, Ms. Laura Uri takes a different class out into the community for directed activities, community exploration. They go to grocery stores specifically to learn how to read nutrition labels, learning about the oceans at California Academy of Sciences, or just recently they all went out to Grace Cathedral to do the labyrinth out there. And then just general life skills. These are functional academics. There's still, we do an academic rotation in the afternoon after lunch. Each student will go to their class rotates to a different teacher. For one, this allows all of our teachers to get to know each of the students. So there's 42 students, at ATP. Every teacher knows every student by the name. Every parent knows every student. And the students, then they also know all of the adults in the program there. With the life schools, it's functional academics, planning a shopping list, looking for bargains, planning a budget, learning about health, cooking, and using a washer and dryer. We also do a sex ed unit while we're over there, which is very important. And then finally, recreational activities. This is going to include physical activity. We want our students to maintain their health and their happiness when they leave ATP. If you ever want to swing by on a Friday after lunch, we call it Fusion Fridays, where there are different activities that students can choose to participate in. They may want to be working on art. They may go down to our wonderful neighbors over at Westmore. They let us use their track on days when their classes aren't in there. And we also have karaoke and things like that, for the students to just kind of show off and do their thing. We've started something new over there, and it's really just in the beginning phases, but we call it the Paraprofessional Collaborative Teams. It's kind of riffing on PLCs. They're specifically designed to build professional capacity in our paraprofessionals. We coined the term, I think in a couple of years, it's going to be a buzzword. You're going to hear it around the district, but paraprofessionalism. And that's something that really what we want to see our paras able to do. they gather data. Service providers expect them to do it. Do they spend any time with that data? Have they learned how to analyze it, and can it inform their practices and the way that they work with students? Students, they're there to achieve goals. We've got goals listed in their IEPs. What about when they're standing at the bus stop? Can a para be working on a speech goal with a student? Can a para be working on an independence goal, on a behavior goal? So we're looking for ways where our paras work in small teams. They look at student data, and they'll just focus on 1 or 2 students at a time, and then provide feedback to the case manager as well as the service provider. It's getting our paras more involved in what the students are doing on a day-to-day basis over there. Most of you are familiar with Imaginate Youth, the collaborative arts program that we do with Creativity Explored. It was designed specifically for our students. They came and found us, and I guess we're going on our 3rd year now. This body, you guys have recognized 2 students from ATP who are both very, very active in the creative arts and working with Creativity Explored. I got to go to the gala, the Creativity Explored gala on Friday night, where Megan Williams, you guys all remember her from the fall, and last year's ATP Student of the Month, Yahir Perez, was there. They both had artwork in the silent auction. Megan's sold for $250. Yahir's piece sold for $950. And he gets to keep half of it. It was so great. It was really special. And Chelsea has just sent out the invitation for the final exhibition for the spring. If you're able to make it, they'd love to have you. It's really, really a lot of fun. A little bit about enrollment, just so you guys can get an idea of what's currently happening. There are 80 students, between 9th and 12th grade in the district right now that will eventually be coming to us. And you can see how we're projecting the numbers to grow. We've got 42 students this year. We'll have 52 next year. We're hiring a new teacher. Actually, we're hiring 2 new teachers. We expect by the following year, we're going to be in the high 50s, but we definitely expect the program's going to keep growing. So now to talk a little bit about adult ed. So, the main thing that we do at adult ed obviously is going to be English as a second language. I am waiting for the state to catch up with what we do at the high schools, where we call it English learning, English language learners. They still call it English as a second language, although a number of my students speak more than 1 language, more than 2, more than 3. We also do high school equivalency and diploma. You can finish your secondary education. You can earn your credentials. You get, equivalency, or even work towards your diploma if you were within a certain number of credits. And then there's our career technical education programs as well. That's going to be a big focus moving into the future, and I'll talk a little bit about that. So you guys are very aware of some of the changes that adult education is having to navigate right now. A lot of it has to do with declining enrollment and funding reductions. This has led us, regrettably, to have to close some programs. Our PM classes over at Jefferson, in the evenings, I started seeing it last year and getting concerned. It was right about January, right when immigration enforcement was really, really ramping up, and we saw the numbers just plummet over there. Felt like there was a little bump spring of this year, and then 5 targeted ICE activity, actions in the community, and Mr. Tino's class emptied out entirely. Literally, was nobody coming back. Also, War Memorial, the attendance there had dropped to about 4 students, and maybe 3 would show up regularly. And this has also forced us to have to adapt our online program, restructuring it to optimize our resources. Basically, we've had to combine some classes. And so these are not things that we wanted to see, but this is definitely what we're looking at. And give you an idea, you can look at what our enrollment's been. Prior to the pandemic, right about the time I came over here, there was, I should point out, these are duplicated student accounts, because you may have a student taking an ESL class. They're also taking a CTE class, or they might also be working on their high school diploma. But yeah, you can see, we we had about 2,800 students. The numbers obviously dropped during COVID. At 22, 23, we bounced up almost back to our pre-COVID numbers there. And then you can see, went down to 1,759, 1,445, and then this year we're at 1,265. I don't know how much of this we can say has to do. It's anecdotal in many ways, but I have been looking a lot into how policy shifts on immigration have had an impact. For one thing that you can see is that these changes are creating systemic headwinds, new federal policies, and look, we all see have seen what happened in Minnesota. While that's gone on, other things have happened that are quieter, that people are not necessarily protesting. $100,000 for an H-1B visa. This is having a chilling effect, obviously. There's fewer student visas going out. People who have already been vetted and are in the United States are getting re-vetted. And then we're seeing travel bans and pathway pauses. And these are affecting nearly half of all permanent visa pathways. It's a disruption of the education to career pipeline. Federal policies are breaking this critical education to career pathway that previously moved international students into the workforce. This is directly impacting California's ability to address workforce shortages in key sectors like technology and healthcare. Let me talk a little bit about our budget so you can see how it impacts it. Now, the state guarantees us our money. That's the CAPE funding, California Adult Education Programming. That's roughly $1.8 million that we get. You go down to San Mateo, who's adult. They're a part of our consortium. They're closer to $4 million, but that was worked out long before I got here. But the state will also supplement that with a COLA increase every year. But that is slowing to a trickle. The preliminary funding has been announced. The director, our executive director of the consortium, she says, I'm not allowed to show it yet, but she's like, but she could basically give, the gist. We'll get our guaranteed 1.8 million. We haven't seen the May revise, but right now it's only about a 20 grand COLA increase. Where we get hit a lot is with WIOA Title II. That's the federal funding, and that money comes from what we call payment points. So students come to, they want to sign up for ESL classes. They're going to take the CASAS test, and that gives us a pre-score, allows us to place our students correctly, but it also sets a line, and then when they take their post-test, if we can show a gain, that's a payment point. Persistence is a payment point. If a student, after they've left us, they complete the employment and earnings survey, that's a payment point. So these are ways that we get money. As, enrollment declines, there's fewer students, means fewer payment points. The impact, as I mentioned before, on California's education, we've got about 25% of the nation's foreign-born population here in California. So this is going to have a big impact. I've been talking about it with my colleagues in the consortium. Even had an opportunity on a WASC visit to talk with, other adult school principals from around the state, and we're all kind of seeing the same thing. It's a chilling effect. It's discouraging enrollment due to fears of data sharing and this re-vetting. It's the pipeline disruption. And you can see student visa issuances have dropped 50%. And then, if we're forced to rely on state COLA as an international student revenue drops, for our state, that's $7 billion. Big surprise, California has, we get, the majority of the WIOA funding. It comes here. The consortium, which we belong to, is San Mateo County College. No, San Mateo. We didn't do a good job renaming this. We used to be called Excel. Now we're called, I think you could pronounce that, SMCASE? San Mateo County Consortium for Adult and Career Education. I got it. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? For one, all of our schools, we follow the safe haven guidelines. We do not require proof of, legal entry into the United States. We have a voluntary Social Security number form. If people want to give it to us, the state likes to get that. By the way, there's payment points for it, but a lot of students, understandably, are very, hesitant to do that. We follow all of those because we want to keep our students feeling safe when they come in. Recruitment at Jefferson Adult is pivoting towards upskilling domestic workers. This follows, I spent some time with the Migration Policy Institute's most recent report. Yes, what's happening at the federal level kind of looks like a moratorium on immigration. But the one thing that we do have to remember, when WIOA was originally authorized, it was a very, very popular thing. It was bipartisan. People want to make sure that there is still adult education out there. Unfortunately, a lot of the focus now is shifting away from ESL and even high school equivalency and high school diploma towards career technical education and upskilling. But until they have absolutely, taken away the WIOA money, we are working towards pursuing 243 grants. Starting in August, the 243 grant comes open again. We have two programs that we'll be trying to get funded through that. One is our instructional aid / paraprofessional preparation program called Understanding Children and the Learning Environment. That's been pretty popular. We have 7 people completing that and getting their certificates that will be able to go to our district across the street, over to South San Francisco, and get a job as an instructional aide or a paraprofessional. And I'm kind of excited about this one because I started trying to make this happen when I first got to adult ed. Looking at a major industry in Daly City and Colma, where the Bay Area likes to bury their dead, we are going to be offering a funeral assistant program starting next year. We're doing it in association with San Mateo with San Mateo Adult Education. It's a hybrid course. During the week, the students will be online. On the weekend, they actually have their in-person class, and that will be over in Building B. This summer, I will take delivery on an embalming table, a gurney, and a casket, and have to find a place to put them over there. But this is how we're wanting to get that money that will offset some of the losses of the other programs, and also with the help of the district, we've managed to figure out how we're going to keep the programs that we have open and stay there. Oh, well, you guys have been listening to a lot, but I'm sure you have some questions for me.
I don't really know where to start, but just your thoughtfulness and just really covering like the whole pie of the situation and finding ways and pivoting. I know you had to combine classes and that's what you have to do, but it could still work. It's not optimal, but that you're still looking to bring the same level to your students, the community, which is going to better the community. I really like that. And about the funeral assistant program, chef's kiss on that.
No.
Yeah, that was not phrasing that I was expecting to hear in a board meeting.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. No, not that, but very specifically the gurney and the embalming table, et cetera. So
instructional materials.
But no, it is. It absolutely is. I'm glad that you shone a light on specifically what's happening at the federal level that's causing the disruption in our communities and the targeted attacks, frankly, on our neighbors. And it sucks. And we have to call it out here in this forum. We do have to say it. I mean, we're a community here that doesn't shy away from the truth as it's happening. And I'm glad that you were able to speak to it because it is a direct impact on the people we care about.
I just across the room, I could feel your emotion, as you were saying that. And I remember, that Wednesday when we heard about, what happened over by Ranch 99 Ranch 99. 99 Ranch. But how much pride I felt when I heard that 2 Westmore students, they heard what happened. They rushed and found their principal, and their principal immediately, called that faith in action crisis line. And it was like, that's why I love being in this community. I mean, people do try to look out for each other.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And I know that's, that is certainly the feeling on this dais. It's the feeling in this room. We all have each other's backs to make sure that we take care of the people who need the help.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And, and I just have to say, just on a personal level, since my son Henry was a sub and last year, and one of his favorite assignments was actually helping out in adult transition very specifically. He really enjoyed working with those kids when he picked up those shifts. So thank you. Thank you for allowing him some space to be able to enjoy spending some time with these students.
I just want to thank you for everything you're doing. Because you care so deeply. And this is an incredible slideshow you gave us, but what's behind it is a man who cares very much about our community, every single one of these students. And who's gonna, you're such a big advocate for them. And I just see when the students are crazy about you too, I like what Trustee Lee said. I'm glad you didn't. You actually addressed a lot of the pains that we're going through and the uncertainty and the hard truths about what our community is facing. That's why I finally got a passport in case I get detained. And, my daughter, Carly, she forgot her ID and she said, well, I have my passport on me. And I said, why do you have your passport in your backpack? Why? Because Mom, you scared me. You said I need my passport. And now that there's some people who believe that there's relief that these are targeted detainments, but that is not a relief. They're here.
Yeah.
They're here. And if it scares our families and our students, we all have to rally together to protect them, I'm
going to add that every person who works in that building over there says exactly what you're saying there. And a couple of weeks ago, it was right after, that incident, I know Victor met with his staff and I met with ours and the level of interest everybody takes in being able to provide security, for our students, make sure that they feel safe coming there. Honestly, I think something about that building, and I can't thank you guys enough for seeing that project all the way through to the end, that students do feel safe in there. Because for some reason, the students are still coming at night.
That's great.
To that program. They're not as comfortable being out at Jefferson at night, but they keep coming here.
I feel like it's the atmosphere there, and also it's tucked away. It feels safe where it's located. Yeah, I'm glad we got that done too. But I just want to thank you for everything you're doing, your entire staff. I'm going to miss the creativity, the final show, but
I think you've been to all the others.
I have, because Carly's graduating, so I'll be in New York.
That's very exciting.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Mr. Bashirs.
Thank you. That was an all-encompassing presentation. I don't have any questions. I don't have any questions for you. I don't have a bunch of comments, but I'm going to continue what I said earlier. When the students presented, I see these themes of leadership again. I want to congratulate you on them for providing them to your staff. And when we had our meeting last week, I think you said something about about what they give that helps the program, that helps you plan the program, helps have success. So I think that's two-way street. I see agility in what you're doing. A lot of times having to come up with a new solution throws people for a loop. And I wonder if you see it as an opportunity. In my fourth year on the board, I think I've heard Trustee Lee say this a few times, you're doing the work. Also on Thursday, you said that in some unnamed year, you did your student teaching in the district and never left. And that's loyalty. And I like the way you've looked out for your staff. You talk about some professional training. I keep seeing these themes of leadership. Thank you.
I'm going to be brief. Thank you so much. Mark, I am just impressed with your slides game. Honestly, that was great. I mean,
that first one though,
I know.
I'm like looking at myself like, oh, come
No,
on.
for real. I mean, like, it's all information that I know because I, work with you and talk with you and know what's up. But it was, I think, a really great, like, I want to post that somewhere because it's a really clear explanation of the adult programs. I mean, it was visually appealing as well, but it was a really clear presentation of like what goes on over at adult school. So thank you. And thanks for your good work.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
17A1 is a public hearing and action item. The resolution 2025-2026-14, increasing school facilities fees as authorized by Government Code Section 65995B3. Who's going to talk to us about this? Oh, Deputy Superintendent of Business Services, Ms. Van Raphorst.
Thank you, President Walker. Good evening, everyone. Before you tonight is a resolution to increase developer fees when construction happens in our attendance area. The impact to our schools is offset by these fees. We recently conducted a study that shows the justification for raising these fees to the maximum allowable rate authorized by Ed Code. And if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, I recommend that you adopt this resolution following a public hearing.
Thank you. I'm looking for a little guidance. Should we discuss first or should I open the public hearing first? Thank you. Let's open the public hearing. Seeing no public comment, I will now close the public hearing. Discussion? Questions?
No.
Yeah,
it's pretty clear. Pretty cut and dry. Move to approve resolution 2025-2026/14 to increase the school facilities fees to $5.38 per square foot.
I second.
All in favor of the motion as stated?
Aye.
Thank you. The next items, consideration of future agenda items. I don't see any. The next item is adjournment.
So moved.
There's
Oh, okay.
What's that?
the adjournment. There's something to.
Oh, there's I'm sorry. Thank you. So I'm going to read an adjournment. Tonight, we adjourn tonight's meeting in honor of Ellen Littman, who was hired in 1986 as the first special services counselor for Jefferson Union High School District, a role now known as wellness counselor. Based at Westmore High School, Ms. Littman was a dedicated advocate for expanding student support services, an effort that grew to include 5 counselors and 5 graduate interns at each school site. Her enduring commitment to child advocacy continues to shape the work of the current JUHSD wellness staff of 20. We, the Jefferson Union High School District, send our condolences to her beloved wife, Nan O'Connor, her children, grandchildren, and great-grandson. We have moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned at 9:32.